Cool. We're live.
Cool.
All right. What's up, Internet World, with News 19 Nerds with another edition of Press Play on this Friday evening. I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
We got a couple of topics to talk about, video game related. I don't know if you got any comic book stuff. Mm-hmm. You tasked me with some stuff, and I came up with a few of them. Two big things that kind of shot up on my radar, and they've kind of happened within the past couple of days. One, your game that you always talk about that I need to play. Mm-hmm. There's been rumors about a Dead Space remake or reboot for a while. Now Jeff Grubb with GamesBeat, some other people are saying Motive, EA Motive, the company that helped, or the studio that helped co-develop Battlefront 2 and some other EA properties, is working on a reboot, or actually maybe a remake of the first Dead Space, in addition to possibly a whole nother Dead Space game coming out. And then, sticking with video games, there was a report by Rebecca Valentine on IGN talking about Sony and how they handle their relationship with independent developers. And it's not the greatest relationship, according to some developers.
Yeah, it's trash.
Yeah.
Hot garbage.
Yeah, they are not happy. So where do you want to start?
Let's start with Dead Space, because that's easy.
Okay. Do you want it?
Don't give a shit.
You don't care about Dead Space?
I don't.
Really?
Let me tell you why. Because I am tired, and I've said this before on the channel, for the dozens of people who've heard me say it. I don't care about remakes.
Okay.
According to the report that VentureBeat had, it was a segment dropped, or it was something that was mentioned during a podcast or a show or something. It was an offhand comment. There's supposedly let me get it right here. Supposedly somebody noticed Dead Space updated a profile picture on Twitter. I'm trying to pull it right here. We have the internet, but it
works when it wants to.
Kind of like some people here. I don't give a shit because I'm tired of remakes. Don't get me wrong. I understand Final Fantasy is doing Game Busters. I understand Resident Evil 2, 3, 7, whatever it is that they're redoing, whatever new Resident Evil. They're taking ideas or inspired by what Capcom did with Resident Evil, and that's great. Don't care, because I would rather someone try to make something brand new. Glenn Schofield, when he created Dead Space, created something new because of Resident Evil, because of the survival horror games that was out there. And he wanted to do something that was going to revolutionize and change the genre, which he did. Give me that. Glenn Schofield is now working on a new project called the Callisto Project, Protocol. We know it's for consoles and PC. We saw a very nice trailer.
Cinematic
trailer. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, at probably the Game Awards.
2 years ago at the Game Awards, everybody was very excited. People have been like, they call it the spiritual successor to Dead Space. I love Dead Space. I love Dead Space 1 and 2. I thought they were perfect, very good games. I thought 3 had very lofty ambitions, but once again, EA, in their infinite wisdom, mucked it all up with what they do with everything.
Microtransactions in it?
No, well, the microtransactions, and this is a big problem that video games, and I think the industry as a whole does. Single player campaign is not dead.
Right.
When Dead Space 3 came out, they shoehorned into it this idea of co-op, which on paper seems like a good idea. And at times it did supposedly you played with a friend, and then there were things that the one character saw that Isaac didn't see, but that takes away from the whole idea of survival horror.
Sure.
Playing with a friend takes away the idea that you're by yourself.
Do you think it's possible to make a co-op survival horror game?
I think it's possible, but the problem is, then do that.
Okay.
Don't shoehorn that into the game at the last minute because you see everyone else doing it. Guess who else made that, F that up and destroyed the franchise? Lost Planet. The first Lost Planet was decent. The second Lost Planet, but they kept trying to shoehorn in this 4-player co-op, and I don't care what you say about Kojima's last game. That was an amazing attempt at something.
Sure.
And we need to stop trying to make everything multiplayer, co-op, make great games. And as I say this, I know it's going to make money because we know you bought Final Fantasy VII, even though you don't even like the game when it first came out. You bought it.
I did.
I played
the Super Edition.
I played Resident Evil 2. It was good.
Yeah.
I played it. I rented it. I didn't buy it. I haven't played 3 yet. I probably will if there's some place that I can rent it or get it for dirt cheap.
Right.
But I don't care because I want something new. Last of Us 2, even though it pissed me the hell off.
Did you ever beat it?
Nope. Still hadn't gone back after that. After that whole, I'm not gonna give people spoilers, but after that whole thing, left a bad taste in my mouth. But you know what? They shot for the fences. I will eventually go back.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of all this remake. I know Mass Effect came out. I've said on here I would like to play it. But I'm be honest with you.
Play what?
Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, whatever they call it.
Got it.
But I'm in no hurry. There's so many great games that they have done. If you're going to do a remake, if you're not bringing me God of War, bye.
Okay.
And it's by the same people who mucked up Battlefront. So why in the world would I be excited about that? You couldn't get Star Wars right.
Okay.
And that's
But do you
easy.
feel like, was that more the studio or the publisher of EA saying,
I think it's both of
you
them.
got to do all this stuff?
I think it's both of them. I think when you have something, I think, and I don't know how this works because I'm not a video game person like that. Developers get crapped on too much by publishers and executives because that's exactly what happened with Cyberpunk.
Sure.
Because Cyberpunk was a broken game. Developers knew it was a broken game. Executives pushed it out, made a whole bunch of money, and developers were the ones who got shitted on about it. Make a great game. If it's single player, make a great single player game. If you want to do multiplayer, make sure the single player works. Do what Battlefield's doing. We're not even doing a campaign, y'all. Straight 162 people battle royale.
Yeah.
Have at it.
Yeah.
They're upfront about what they're making. That's the problem with a lot of these games when they have something and then you have people tweaking stuff. Oh, because this is the new thing. There was a great documentary from a web series called Gamers. It's G, the A is a V, MERS. They have one on Dead Space, and when you watch what happened,
can I see it on YouTube? Or
yep,
can I see
it's on.
Okay.
Is it? I just said, didn't I say YouTube channel?
I thought you just said just a documentary.
It's
I didn't hear
but they
YouTube.
they do documentaries on video games. They did
Got it.
Good Bad. They did Beyond Good and Evil. They've done Resistance. They've done The Fall. They've done some on Halo. When you go back and you watch all the documentation about some of these games that we loved, and you realize what happened, it'll piss you off. And they ruined Dead Space. They had a great idea, and then they ruined it. And I don't care about a remake of Dead Space unless you're going to not remake it. You're going to do what PlayStation Studios, I guess is what it's called now. Whatever they did with God of War. You had a great franchise, and you were like, let's update it. Update it. Don't give me the same Dead Space. Dead Space was amazing. One of the best games that I played in a long time. It was so scary they had to dial back the scare in the second one.
Well, have there been any, because we've talked about this when we first kind of started doing press, or maybe before we started doing press plays years ago, and back when I guess probably during the Xbox 360 PS3 era, where they were kind of remaking games from PS2. And we were saying that this is cool, but this is going to lead to always remakes every generation. And when you get into the new stuff, has there ever been a remake game for you? Like, I'm glad they got remade with upscale graphics.
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, I'll play it, but that's not a day one buy for me. And I love Dead Space. I still own my old copies of Dead Space. If I want to play Dead Space,
in my mind, I thought you had it in here because that was going to be the cover of the photo for Instagram.
I'm bringing that here for these unwashed masses. And I don't mean y'all. Y'all are good people. I'm talking about them people upstairs. This people outside of the frame, whatever that.
Outside of the friends of the show.
Outside of that 16x9 box I'm talking to you in.
Okay.
You people are cool. The rest of them, woo.
All right.
And don't get me wrong. If it was just one game, that's fine. But good Lord, they're trying to remake everything.
Sure.
And this is the thing that I've noticed. they're trying to do what Nintendo does, but Nintendo don't. Nintendo remixes everything they own for a new generation, but it's brand new. You're not getting the same Super Mario you got when you first plugged in your Nintendo,
Right.
your NES. You're getting something totally different. They changed the game when they brought Super Mario World.
It's funny that you say that, right? Because in the one hand, they're always reinventing their franchises, but they're also making you buy Super Mario 3 and everything every single time.
And you know what? That's fine. Guess what? They're not remaking the first Super Mario with new stuff in it. No, you're buying the same game.
Yeah.
And that's okay if you want to play that. But it's one of those things where how many times? So because this is the thing. Are you gonna once you remake Dead Space, right? Mm-hmm. So we're on next generation, current generation PS5. Mm-hmm. You're gonna remake Dead Space. Mm-hmm. When PS7 comes out, you're gonna remake that again. Probably. See, and so when does it stop? When are you gonna free up these people, these developers, to make something brand new? Mm-hmm. Was it Neil Druckmann?
For what? Last of Us?
Yeah, well, Naughty Dog.
Not yet.
So there's a great gamers, same YouTube channel. They track how Neil Druckmann came up with the idea for Last of Us and how it wouldn't work here, didn't work here, and how it finally came to fruition. Imagine if he never got to do that because he was working on the remake of some game that was okay now. And so that
question for you, side branch topic. How do you feel about annualizations of games like a Call of Duty every year? Because it is a different story, but it is still Call of Duty.
That's a different thing because when you're talking about like Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare, I was happy with Modern Warfare.
Oh well, yeah, that was a remake. How'd you feel about that?
It was a remake, but guess what? They got a lot of stuff wrong.
Okay.
Historically, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
This is going worldwide?
Yeah.
You lied about that, right? Like, literal war crimes happened in that game. And they were like, the Russians did that. Mm-hmm. No, America did that.
Right.
And then, like, the whole making the Russians out to be these evil entities and how they, like, it was almost jingoistic how they made them. I was not okay with that. There were some things that were very good, and I liked the fact that they tried to update the game. But I'm going to be honest with you. Modern Warfare as a game still holds up. Like, so I was okay with that. But at the end of the day, what are you doing that's new? Mm-hmm. And again, Treyarch, whoever you are, Infinity Ward, what are you doing that's... And again, regurgitating these same things. I ain't bought Cold War. Why?
We talk about Sledgehammer, who Schofield was with. That is one of the companies that does help with the annualization of Call of Duty.
Like, I'm just like, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed Call of Duty. When Modern Warfare came out, I own all the Modern Warfares. I have never traded them in. One, because you ain't gonna get that much money for them. And two, I still pop them in pop the disc in and play it. I did get the updated Modern Warfare just only so I could play it on the console that I had out at the time because my PS3 was in another room and I wanted to play in the living room. I have no problem with something like that 10 hours. But like, imagine if these people were allowed to develop games and these fantastic ideas that these developers has, because these people are creative as fill in the blank. Why are you holding them and chaining them, their creativity, to just redoing stuff over and over and over again?
I get that. Yeah.
Like
that was surprising me that you weren't excited about Dead Space.
Care.
You don't care about a remake, but a new entry in Dead Space that has you more interested.
I would be interested, but I'll be honest with you,
they're also supposed to be doing that too.
Give it to somebody else. EA,
it's not EA Motive. I don't think it's EA Motive.
I thought it was EA Motive.
I thought EA Motive was working on the reboot or the remake, not the reboot.
I don't want EA on the same. I don't want them in the same zip code.
Okay.
I don't want you sharing the same internet. EA, you get an intranet. You don't even get to be on the internet that we share because you are a terrible company. Friend of the show. I'm sorry.
Can you imagine? Side note: what if we had an airing of grievances of all the people we wronged, but call them friends of the show, and they just come up to us, starting with Holly Berry and then whoever.
Holly Bear, I'm coming for you. We got to talk.
Sorry, go ahead.
But no, but like, it really pissed me off when I got Battlefront and how broken it was.
Sure.
Battlefront was so bad, Congress got involved, and they never agree on anything. Really?
Yeah.
You know how bad you have to be to get people who diametrically are opposed to everything to say, yeah, we gotta look into these loot boxes.
Yeah.
Really? That shows you how bad you are. When you are worse than Comcast, when they ranked companies, EA was worse than Comcast.
EA does kind of always rank down below. I don't know where they are recently. But.
Oh man. So that's the one thing, and David Cooper's right. They do it because people keep being dumb and keep buying it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a hypocrite as well, because I did buy the Call of Duty the remakes, and I shouldn't have. I should have been like, nope, I'm going old school.
Yeah.
My dumb ass was like, ooh, click.
I remember that night. I feel like you might have tweeted a photo. Or
Oh, yeah.
You posted on Instagram about it, like about to get into it.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
with my stomach sitting in my shorts, I was like, take a picture. It's
Yeah.
probably still online. And I'm like, I'm just like, yo, man, when are we going to get to a point where we can allow these developers? And this is the thing, and I wish maybe a company should do this. Hey, raise your hands. For those of you who want to be creative over here, for those of you who just want a paycheck, we about to remake some shit. Just come this way. You know what? If a company did that, I wouldn't even be mad.
Okay.
Because they're doing what Ty Williams says, I would pay good money for a remake of Jade Empire or a sequel to Sleeping Dogs. Give me a sequel at least.
What if a game was bad, was remade to be, they fixed the bugs?
I mean, but that's what, to me, that's what remaking should be. A game or a movie that had a kernel or a nugget of a great idea. It just wasn't executed well.
Okay.
Order 1886. Is that the one that was like 5 hours?
That looks
and
so
quick
beautiful,
time?
but
Yeah.
was like 4 hours.
Take that idea
Sure.
and give it to someone who can do a better job with it.
Chat, do you guys remember the company that made that? Because I'm curious what they're working on now.
Probably EA.
It wasn't EA.
Oh, you know what? Let's go find out.
I know it wasn't EA, but okay.
What, 1886? Yep.
Order 1886, yeah.
I got it right.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Sony.
Ready at Dawn.
Published by Sony. Santa Monica Studio.
Okay, so they're doing VR stuff now, and they did the Santa Monica studio. That's interesting because that's also the studio that gave us the newest God of War.
David Cooper, if you go back on that web series I was talking about, they have one. They just released Alpha Protocol, the fall of Alpha. What happened to Alpha Protocol? And that's what I'm looking for. You're never going. And again, Dead Space may be great, but you know what? You know what I would love to see? Fix Anthem and give me a sequel, because the idea was there. The kernel of the idea is there. Try to fix what you already have. Don't just dump stuff like it's an ex-girlfriend you don't love anymore. Like, let's try.
Side note, as he's talking about broken games, for all my people that are playing Avengers.
Ooh. Talk about broken.
So yeah, but I am stuck in the most recent event on Avengers, and I need people to raid with me because I cannot beat it on my own with the Scientist Supreme. So let me know who's playing so we can play on PS4. I don't know if Brian is in the system. Brian Gamer is in the chat yet, or Ray Sean Carey, whoever. But let me know if you guys are playing, so I can team up with somebody. Cause yeah.
So yeah, they had Yep, they changed it. So they updated it to. Still has 51,000, but let's say 52,000 subscribers. They did change the little avatar on the Twitter page, and a lot of people are like, oh my. And I'm like, I love Dead Space. I watched the anime for Dead Space. I bought the comics. I read the books. I love the idea of Dead Space. I love that whole universe. Ty Williams, I would take a reboot of SOCOM. See, that's the thing. I will take a reboot over a remake any day, because those are two different things. You rebooting means that you're taking that kernel, that nugget of an idea that worked back then, is long dead, and you're updating it today. I would take a rebooted SOCOM Navy SEALs in today's environment, in today's world.
I think that company, the last thing they did that I can remember was MAG. You remember MAG? Mm-hmm. It was like a super, like maybe 64, I don't know, super amount of large players. I don't think it did very well.
So I would give me that. And this is another thing. Stop saying your games aren't political. Stop hiding behind that. If you want to do SOCOM, give me what SOCOM does. Mm-hmm. Go into North Africa. Go into these places. Stop giving me these fake countries. Show me exactly what these operators do, and give people the sense of not just a run and gun. And I'll give you this. Ubisoft tried that. Ubisoft tried that with Breakpoint. I have that. I hadn't played it yet. Where you had to heal yourself. Where you were like, they tried.
Ubisoft tries it with a lot of their Far Cry games, even though they say they're not political. But I mean, clearly they are.
Really, yeah.
And it's. We talk about the issue between developer and executive, and it definitely seems that was the case with Far Cry 6, where the executives were like, it's not political, and the guy's like, no, it kind of is.
He's like, dude,
no, it
really?
is. We model a lot of stuff after Cuba and what they're going through, so yeah it is.
And Cuba, Far Cry 5.
Yeah, which one was that?
Not Primal 5, the one where they were in the
Midwest or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, man. Like, we're not stupid, and you're not stupid, because we see what you make, so we know you're not stupid. That's my stance on it. That's why I was like, this is an easy one.
Okay.
Dead Space.
Yeah.
Throw it in the air. Remake. Let it fall down like pigeon feathers. Now reboot. Give me some of that. Inject it right into the vein. I want to see what that is, because I want to see what you do. And don't give me this PS4 crap either. I know it has a.
What do you mean PS4 crap?
Don't see. This is another thing. Stop remaking stuff for the old generation, because I'm sorry, PS4 is an old generation now. I'm sorry for those people who don't have a next gen console. They are coming. Start making games for the next generation console. Show me what you can do with a rebooted franchise like Ratchet and Clank.
Sure.
Give me like Ratchet and Clank. Do you know you can jump into different worlds and there's no like elevator scene?
Sure.
Imagine that graphical power, that kind of processing power on a next gen game. Oh my gosh, come on.
Yeah.
That's the thing I can't stand. You remaking this stuff because and again, I know it's money, I know it's dollars and cents, I understand that it's a business, but it's also an art. It's also an art what these people do and what they create, and allow them to be artists. On the when you are an artist, don't you want the best equipment available to craft your art?
Sure.
Give them that. Give them the tools to build a rebooted Dead Space on a PS5 or God of War Ragnarok on PS5. I understand. If it's 2 years out, cool. I'll wait. Let everybody 2 years out. Everybody get a PS5.
So what do you feel about games that are being made for both systems, like PS4 and PS5? Like Spider-Man Miles Morales.
It just came out, so I'm okay with that. Okay. Like, it just came out. Everybody can't get one. I'm not one of those people who doesn't say we're in a pandemic. Supply lines are just F to the A. We reported on the ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal.
Yeah.
That cost billions of dollars worldwide.
Right.
There's a semiconductor shortage. I understand all of that. So I'm not mad that, hey, some of these games are going to be cross-platform. Some of these games are going to be next-gen and old-gen. But if you announce a Dead Space game talking about in 2 years it's still going to be on the PS4, in 2 years you couldn't save $500? And it's probably going to be cheaper?
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
Okay. Anything else on this?
Ken from Chicago. I honestly, if I won the lottery, you know what I would do? I would open up a gaming studio. I really would. I would if I won the lottery, this is what I'd do. Me and Michael would quit today. Tell these people could go F themselves. I'd show my behind. I'd come in with a fur coat and a tiger and a pimp cup, whatever. Oh yeah, and we would make this thing global, and I'd open up a gaming studio and put Michael in charge. And that's what I would do.
What?
Yep.
This is news to me.
No, it's not, because we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, but I didn't say I was quitting no job. If you won the lottery,
Sir, I
what?
just gave you $100,000. You going to work the next day? No, you're not.
$100,000? Yes. I can't live off $100,000.
I'm giving you $100,000 and I'm still going to pay you.
Oh, you didn't say that. You just said I'm giving you $100,000.
I'm going to pay you a salary. I'm a millionaire now.
We'll talk off camera.
See what I'm saying? I mean, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Okay.
But yeah, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But no, that's what I'm saying. It's again, I understand all of the minutia behind it, but do you want another Resident Evil 2, or do you want the next Last of Us?
And it kind of comes down to allocation of resources, right? I think a lot of the creativity that we're seeing is coming from independent studios just by necessity, because they don't have the budgets. They have to think out of the box.
They have to be creative.
We can't wow you with graphics, so we got to come up with a crazy idea to hook you. And I think
That
that's because they don't have
segues into the next story.
right, because they don't have that money. Like, here's something new that you haven't played.
Like 12 minutes.
Oh, I can't wait for 12 minutes.
See what I'm saying? You don't need.
Yeah.
And
that game has been in development for at least 5-6 years. But yeah, that looks good.
But so you tell them about your story while I tell them that David Cooper said
No, kid from Chicago, I'm not. That's all Leroy. I'm not.
Y'all know good and well, if I won the lottery, one, my wife would be in charge of it, my sister and my mom taking care of the money. You know good and well you would love to see what we could do with some real money where we're not beholden to doing news, and we could do this full time and do like real stories, do real interviews. Y'all would watch that. Because you watch this.
I love it. So next thing, getting away from Dead Space, report again. I want to say was it Rebecca Valentine? I hope I got the name right. It was a reporter from IGN. I think it's Rebecca Valentine. I'll look that up in a second after I say the thing.
Brian Gamer, 12 minutes on Game Pass.
Yeah, I can't wait. Day one. She had a report. There was an independent developer on Twitter saying Platform X. He never said what the platform was, but he listed a bunch of issues that he was having.
I love how he started. He was like, they say don't burn bridges, but I can't access this bridge.
Right, so it
he was
doesn't
like,
matter.
woo!
He said Platform X, I won't say what it is, but they don't have Game Pass. It's like, well, okay, that narrows it down.
Yep.
And he started listing all these problems that he was having in terms of being able to talk with a PR rep or somebody at this particular game company or game distributor, whoever, of the big three between Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, saying that his company doesn't have a way to showcase their games on this platform. Then other developers that came out, once they kind of said, oh, he's talking about PlayStation. We'll say it. Now that he's already said it, yeah. And a lot of the reports have been collaborated. So it seems like indie developers are having issues with PlayStation.
Doesn't surprise me.
It does surprise me in the fact that it wasn't always the way. This wasn't always the case. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 3, I remember a couple of E3 press conferences where Sony showcased independent developers on their stage.
Okay. When was the last time?
That was years ago.
When was the last time? That's what I was about to say. When was the last time that happened?
Right, it hasn't. But I'm just saying, it's not like they've always been this way. So I'm just curious what's going on.
We know what's going on.
What's going on?
Sony thinks their blank don't stink. Because we have been on this channel, as much as I like Sony, we have talked about Sony has doing a terrible job handling digital sales.
Yeah.
They just had to tell people again, we're committed to keeping PS3 and Vita games selling on our platform, on our digital store.
Sure.
I just posted that on our Facebook page, and if you'd like to see more content like that, click on facebook.com and then search for News 19 Nerds. For now. Till I win that lottery. That lottery money coming. I can feel it.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
But they just had to say that again.
Right.
As somebody who sells two consoles to one of Microsoft's, you own the market share. You're consistently having to explain and say, oh, our bad, every time I turn around. Name the last time you saw something that came out about Sony that you were like, oh, that's a good idea. Whether it was, we're not making a Days Gone 2, Whether it was people are upset because we're remaking another Last of Us for the PS5.
To tie back to our first conversation, yeah, it's a remake.
When was the last time you heard Sony and it was positive? Not like a game, but it was like, oh, Sony is doing this.
Yeah.
Microsoft owns the market share when it comes to... And John Donuts, I understand it's a business and not a charity. The problem is your name in business means something.
Sure.
And right now, Microsoft is owning when it comes to good news.
Yeah. We talk about independent developers and their platforms. Microsoft has had this thing called ID at Xbox for a while. For this system, for Xbox One, maybe Xbox 360, but it's like essentially kind of an independent publishing arm that allows indie developers to pretty much autonomously self-publish their own games. And they don't have to do a lot of stuff through Microsoft. It's a lot easier for them. That's a big thing that they always talk about at E3 press conferences. Here are a bunch of indie games that are doing whatever. You saw that in their most recent thing with Bethesda. Even though they had a bunch of Bethesda games, they still talked about some of the ID at Xbox games that were coming out and things that are being published by independent developers. So,
John Donuts, I hear what you're saying. Sony doing very well putting out games. That's true. People get angry on Twitter about a lot of things, but this isn't angry on Twitter. There are a lot of people who feel the same way. This dude just had an axe to grind and was like, I'm going to say it. But you
can't get on the bridge.
But you know what's funny? You don't hear this from Microsoft. And you may be on top right now, Sony.
Sure.
And I will say, so, but we all know the video game is a very fickle mistress.
Yeah.
Guess who else was on top years ago? Remember when it was only two and it was Sega and Nintendo?
Yeah.
And Sega now just makes games. So, I'm not saying that's Sony's future, but Sony needs to be innovative.
And shout out to a friend of the show, Shuhei Yoshida, who is running essentially Sony's independent division, because he's working on trying to cultivate these relationships with independent developers. It's just taking some time.
Because
so hopefully that'll work out.
Because they're like what? They're like the mice who look at the cat who's in charge of the food now, and it's like
yeah. Hopefully
really?
that's going to work out, and we'll see more independent developers, because a lot of indie games I've had way more fun with just indie developers.
Ori Will of the Wisps was one of your favorite games.
Yeah, Moon Studios. I love both of those. What's the game? The multiplayer, the Cookie Overcooked. I really enjoy that game, made by an independent developer. That's a game that they keep remaking. Well, they don't necessarily remake; they're just releasing it on other systems. But made by an independent developer, great party game, and very few people making that game. So yeah.
And that's the thing is, Kim from Chicago says Sony's focused on console and exclusive. Microsoft is going for cloud service and streaming, becoming a Netflix game and buying studios for exclusive. Sony. This is the thing that I remind people about. You're never on top forever. 10 years ago was when the first Marvel movie came out. No, about 11 years? We'll say when Iron Man came out.
I think Iron Man was 2008, I think.
2008, because that was the same year as the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
DC was killing, Warner Brothers was killing the game. Warner Brothers was killing the movie industry.
Yeah.
Where are we at now? You know why? Because Warner Brothers did not think for the future and rested on their laurels and rested on one character. Whereas Marvel, the MCU, was created, developed, it grew, it was built into a franchise, and now, 22 movies later, we're watching them turn, basically carrying the entire Disney Plus app.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah. And you wouldn't have thought that, because many people would have thought Star Wars. Star Wars is, people love Star Wars, but
I'm agreeing with you.
People would have thought Star Wars, but it's. I feel like if you were to question people, I think people would probably say Marvel. Like, why are you watching? Why do you have Disney Plus? I feel like they'd say Marvel over.
Don't get me wrong. People are watching Star Wars.
Is Bad Batch still going, or is that
it's still
season
on?
done?
Yeah.
Okay.
They just had their mid-season. They're on
Okay.
episode 10 now.
Okay.
But see, John Donuts, there are a lot of executives who are clowns. The problem is Sony is not doing the things. In other words, Sony to me is living in the moment. Yeah, it's great. Right now, we have the grasshopper and the ant. And Sony's the grasshopper. And guess what? And guess who always wins in the end?
The ant.
The ant.
Yeah.
And right now, who is the ant when it comes to video games? It looks to be Microsoft.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with Sony, and that's why I champion Microsoft. They don't have the games that Sony has. I'll be the first to admit they don't have the single player experience that Sony has.
Sure.
But they're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
They realized their deficiency, and they said, "Here's a check for $8 billion. ZeniMax, come on down."
Y'all make us some good stuff.
Yep.
The only thing that Microsoft doesn't have for me is a studio that's devoted to fighting games, because they had Killer Instinct on Xbox One. That game was great. I would like another fighting game from a Microsoft studio.
I'd like for just more fighting games, period.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But see, Ken from Chicago, you're right. They were forced to make good movies.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You everybody's forgetting they were forced to make good movies to compete. And that's what Sony needs to be doing. They need
Your
to
resources make you creative.
Sony needs to be forced into making better decisions, because right now they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are selling 2 systems to every 1 system.
Yeah.
They are, and I'm not knocking Nintendo. Nintendo's not in their stratosphere. Nintendo's quietly doing what Nintendo does.
They're doing their own strategy.
Yep.
Yeah, they're
and
fine.
it's working for them.
Yeah.
The problem with Sony is they're going to piss so many people off and make so many bad business decisions. You're going to have one of the greatest consoles, and nobody wants to make a game for you, and nobody wants to play. And another thing too is public perception plays a big role in how people spend their money. Because if they think that you are a douchebag or whatever tool or whatever word you want to use for horrible company, people aren't buying your stuff.
Big Brad 85 says Primal Rage. I don't know if this is a popular opinion, unpopular opinion. I think Primal Rage looked cool when it came out. I don't think the gameplay was that good on Primal Rage. I thought it was just cool to eat people and pee on somebody as a dinosaur. I don't know that it was that great.
Wait, you got to pee on people?
In Primal Rage?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the attacks was you could pee on people. Yeah. I don't remember which dinosaur it was. I wouldn't look it up with a company computer, but that's fine.
Really? Have you met me?
I know, but I'm just saying, yeah, it was wild. It was crude.
Dinosaurs peeing on people in video games.
There we go. But if somebody were to redo it again and update it and give it a better fighting system, I'd be down for it.
I told you if I had the money, if y'all talk about if I won the lottery, Def Jam reboot, next gen, new school versus old school, DLC characters. Whoo!
Oh, I was so hurt and the company that made it was EA. Def Jam Icon was such a disappointment. Like the idea of what it was and how it looked at the time was cool, but that fighting to the beat thing and not having the crazy superpowers, it didn't work for me. But
I'm just saying, do Def Jam, update it, start throwing in new school versus old school, and also have the soundtrack with the game. Do you know how much money you could make?
Sure.
And then do you know how much? Because this is the thing, hip hop has a very big ego. It's very ego driven. Mm-hmm. So you go tell me that you don't think 50, Eminem, Lil Yachty, all of these different people ain't gonna be playing that on Twitch talking trash.
Did you see, and I don't know if it's still on Amazon Prime, I think it's through Showtime, but you can watch Amazon Prime, the Wu-Tang documentary. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kids are geniuses.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think that, and see, that's what I'm saying. If Microsoft did that, hell, if Sony did that, like someone do it. Yeah. I'm giving this idea to the world.
Free of charge.
Free of charge.
Yep.
The next one you're going to pay for.
Yeah.
But think about that for a second. In today's economy,
yeah,
a video game that and this is the thing, then you can do franchises just like you do with that stupid game. What's that? Guitar Hero. Guess what? You can start bringing in pop stars.
Sure.
You can start. You mean to tell me you don't want to play as Beyonce and whip Jay-Z's ass?
I'm not saying people wouldn't. I'm just curious what
Beyonce ain't gonna do it, but
I'm wondering who would actually sign up for it to be like, I'll do this. Yeah.
But think about it. Yeah. You're an artist. You don't think they would not sign up to have their digital likeness created in a video game with a handful of hand-selected tracks to play Are you serious?
Yeah.
In a Marvel versus Capcom style game,
Sure.
or NetherRealm like Injustice or Mortal Kombat? Mm-hmm. Hell, I'll even take a Tekken or Soul Calibur style.
NetherRealm Studios, NetherRealm Studios just announced that they're finished all DLC on Mortal Kombat 11, so they're focusing on a new project. We hope that it's that rumored, what was it, Marvel vs. DC? Mm-hmm. Don't know what it is, but they're working on some new project.
Son, Zaylen Rue hit the nail. Imagine this: you're playing as Beyonce. You know how, like in Capcom, you can bring somebody bring an assist to Solange. Come on, son. That just writes itself.
Yeah.
Imagine if you playing as Dr. Dre and your backup is M and 50.
Yeah.
Really? That would like, and then you have the new school like the Migos,
mm-hmm.
or then you have like and this is the thing, you have factions. So you have like the Dirty South, then you have the West Coast, then you have the East Coast,
sure.
Then you have the little North Carolina faction that's up and coming with J. Cole, Lil Baby. Come on, son. Then you have Houston. You got Megan Thee Stallion. Then out of the North, you got Cardi B. Really? You don't think that won't sell?
Yeah.
Where is that game? And that's what I'm saying. Where's the innovation from Sony? And that's a AAA game.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't even need AAA. Just do indies, because Grease is one of the best games ever.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is sold out.
Mm-hmm.
You can only buy it digitally. They made a vinyl copy of it. I think it's sold out in like gangbusters. Celeste, Hades. Start supplying indie developers with tools, and then Sony, get your head out of your behind and fix PlayStation Now. Because you are lagging. And the future is what Microsoft is doing. I'm sorry.
John Donuts, you say only 2 years of support for MK11. Hope the new game comes soon. Do you feel like that was enough support for a fighting game? Because I feel like that's kind of standard. Dragon Ball FighterZ maybe got a little bit longer, but I don't feel like DLC for fighting games last that long.
No.
And NetherRealm, they kind of have a history of, I think it's on a 2-year cycle where they show up with a new game, whether it was a Mortal Kombat or an Injustice. It kind of seems like it's been a 2-year cycle. So I think if they're doing an Injustice 3, we might hear about it soon. But
what would you do? Because this is your story. What would you do if you were Sony and that tweet came out? How do you run damage control? Because this is
so I can do whatever I want.
You can do whatever you want.
So I feel like Sony and all these other big companies, whenever people do apologies, it never seems genuine, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always scripted and whatever. I think this is when you do a roundtable AMA, Ask Me Anything,
mm-hmm.
where you get some of these developers who have issues. You sit them down. You sit them down with who's running. It's not Jack. Is it Jack Tretton? Is he running?
I don't know.
Whoever's running Sony right now. Not Kaz, not like full Sony, but whoever's running PlayStation right now. You sit them down and you guys just talk about, hey, what are your issues? And you guys just hash it out. I think you talk, and I think that works as an apology better than anything else.
Fix what's broken, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not scripted, right? So it's a big thing that if you don't know, if you're not in the news business, a lot of times when you're doing interviews with some people, they're like, can I get the question in advance? No. You don't give them the question in advance.
Why would I do that?
Right. So it's the same thing with PlayStation policies and whatever. You answer those questions as they come to you. And if you look foolish, maybe you look foolish, but at least you were honest. Hopefully that honesty bleeds through.
Because this is the thing. To me, that's a good show. Now, the question is, do you fix it? Because I don't care about lip service. And that's one of the things that bothers me about whatever job you have. Don't sell me. I already work here. You don't have to sell me. Mm-hmm. What you have to tell me is, how are you going to fix the issue? And to me, I don't see them trying to fix the issue. And that goes back to what John Donut said earlier. They kind of don't have to.
until they become lower.
Microsoft has to.
Right.
Sony don't have to. Because Sony is like, hey, Horizon Zero Dawn's coming out at the end of the year. It's almost like Scooby Snacks.
Yeah.
And
who's gonna bite on what?
And so, I would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But to give you a sense of why I think Sony has to acknowledge what is going on,
mm-hmm.
because you may be on top, but you ain't never on top forever. Because always, in just like Afro Samurai, you may have the #1 headband right now.
Somebody's coming for you.
Somebody's always coming for you. And I can give you a perfect example. Diamond Publishing. Diamond Publishing is the monopoly for this industry right here, nerd industry. This little book comes out every month. And guess what? Pandemic happened. And now they have to fight for their survival because Marvel signed their own publishing deal with Penguin. You can still buy Marvel books through Diamond, but you're not going to get free shipping like you would with Penguin. Penguin is now literally testing how to ship comics. They're taking boxes, putting comics in it, putting new things in it, shipping it to people, and be like, hey, let us know if that works, if the stuff came damaged.
Yeah.
Diamond ain't never did that.
Okay.
When Diamond had their little things, like you talked about, their little AMAs or like retailer roundups, Diamond was like,
Y'all still got to come to us. So this is great. We done.
So, and right now, Diamond no longer is the exclusive distributor of DC books and Marvel books. Now they're gonna still keep sending you little things like this. They're one of the people who sell Funkos. You still can get stuff like this.
Sure.
But the meat and potatoes, these guys, yeah. And again, Diamond was on top for a good number of years, and then the pandemic happened. So that's my point to Sony. Yeah, you on top for right now.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time until you get old and slow, and the young lion comes for that ass. Mufasa.
John Donuts, question for you. Do you own any Microsoft systems? Like, have you played Xbox or are you strictly PlayStation? You may have answered this before. I just have a bad memory. Let me know in the chat.
Kim from Chicago. Diamond is still, they still kicking. I got a Diamond catalog up there right now I need to go through. John Donuts, I agree they're not going to involve us, but the way media works now is when stuff catches fire and it snowballs, you have to get in front of it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and then more people see, this is the thing, it's only one right now. It only takes one.
Yeah.
Let somebody else sign their name to it. And then when somebody signs it, and somebody who's actively working with Sony, who's like, I ain't got nothing to lose, that's when you have a problem. And that's why I say with Diamond right now, before the pandemic, people were pissed with Diamond.
Sure.
People were angry. And then DC was like, we don't have an exclusive deal with y'all. We can quit whenever we want. And the pandemic hit and DC was like, let's see how this works. Yeah. And now Luna and DCBS were the two people who were distributing DC Comics. That's who you had to go through to get your comics. So you had to fill out one form for Diamond for all your other stuff, and then DCBS and then Luna, and then DCBS went away, and now it's just Luna, and then you still got to go through Diamond. Now it's Penguin, Luna, Diamond. Eventually, somebody's going to come for Diamond and come for that crown. And Diamond's going to be over here looking around like, what happened? You didn't innovate. You didn't keep up. So
Todd Williams says, it seems like Microsoft took Sony's philosophy and approach, and Sony is implementing Microsoft's old philosophy. Hubris is a beast.
Yeah. I mean, business is always changing, and it's always based on the world that we live in. Zayla Maru says, I thought about getting a new Xbox, but I have an RTX 3080 and Xbox Game Pass, so, hey man, when you leave at home. Dang. I wouldn't be telling people you got that new RTX, man.
Ray Sean K, what am I playing? So I just got my Xbox Series X. I picked it up from Best Buy earlier this week. Have not opened it yet. It's just sitting there looking at me, taunting me. Because again, I still only got a 1080p TV. I'm basic like that.
Yeah,
but I am playing. What am I playing?
Stole one by now.
Great. I am playing. What am I playing on Xbox?
You said you finished Mafia.
Yeah, Mafia 3. That was PlayStation. I'm playing Empire of Sin because it's on Game Pass, and I'm probably gonna start playing one of the Yakuza games on Game Pass.
Oh, you were playing Persona.
I am playing Persona on PlayStation 5. Loving that. Man, we talked about it. That's a long game.
I had just 120 hours.
I'm 40 hours in. I was like, man.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Did you buy
it keeps going.
Did you buy the one that has all the DLC that came?
It was no. I downloaded as part of the PlayStation Plus collection.
Oh,
so
they might have everything.
It's the basic one. It's not the Persona 5 Royal. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Ken from Chicago. Yes. So here's what happened. Just give you guys a little history lesson. In the 80s, there were multiple distributors for comics, and in the 90s. and then the comic crash happened. And the comic crash of the comic crash of the 90s forced everybody out. And basically Diamond was the last man standing. What's the wrestling where it's was it Hell in a Cell where it's like
Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Which one?
Where it's everybody and whoever's last person standing.
Probably Royal Rumble.
Is it Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
Diamond was the last one holding a folding chair.
Okay.
And it was like, who wants some?
Okay.
And now the pandemic happened and AEW shows up. Ring of Fire.
Right.
And now WWE ain't exactly on top no more.
Ty Williams. People in the chat let me know. I keep wanting to get the LG, the nice LG OLED TV. I keep seeing that burn-in is a problem. Is it a problem, or is that just something that could happen? Let me know. Because I do want to get one of those LG TVs. I just haven't done it yet because I keep hearing about
that was from Samsung.
permanent.
They was like, this stuff burns a hole in your stuff.
Yeah, it's like, I'm curious about
Put that online. Put that online. Ray Sean K, what did you think of Mass Effect, the first one? Because you're playing it for the very first time. And are you playing the Legendary Edition? Like you got all three? Because that's the one thing I will say about going back to our first topic. That's the only thing I like about remaking games is that a new generation of gamers do get to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And an updated, that I do appreciate. I can appreciate that for people who never got to play these games. That idea of playing this game that you've heard so much about, that I can understand. But a lot of it is, I also think is, and I'm a little older, I can say that because I read comics, I'm tired of servicing a generation of people. Like comics right now, the median age of comics is about 35.
Mm-hmm.
Comics we're not growing the industry like we used to. When I got into comics, and my first comic was X-Men 278 that I was able to buy with my own money, that I didn't like get from other people, blew my mind. Where is that idea of when someone goes into a store, picks up, and that's why I said, where are the new games? Not the games of like, I heard about this. When is a kid going to go in, pick up a brand new copy of whatever? I'm looking for a game. I don't know. Tag team wrestling. When is somebody going to go in and pick up a brand new game?
Sure.
And just fall in love with it? That's what I want to see. That's what I miss.
Okay.
Oh man, I forgot I had a TurboGrafx 16 over here. Man, I just need to get that fixed.
All right.
What's in here?
I guess that's about it for us.
Oh, remember Keith Courage, the dude with the giant head?
No.
Oh no, that's the dinosaur game. I can't remember Keith Courage.
Oh, you talking about Bonk?
Yeah, that was Bonk. I'm trying to
Okay.
remember Keith Courage. Which one was that one?
I don't know.
Man, this thing is old.
What got you through the week?
Nothing.
All right. Cool. What have I been watching?
This week was hard.
Yeah. For me, Leroy put me on a YouTube channel that I'm really enjoying. Girlfriend Reviews.
I told you.
That couple is very good. Matt and Shelby.
Yep.
If you guys haven't seen it, I think they're
Girlfriend Reviews.
very creative in how they edit and how they write their scripts and everything.
And they have gotten so much better.
Yeah, very good. Y'all should
The
check them out.
E3, the E3 one.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Them songs.
Yeah, she's good. She's very talented. He's talented too, but she's the one who narrates everything. But Girlfriend Reviews, I'm really enjoying that a lot.
Reading some of these comments, I generally stay behind on games, so what's old to most people, I'm just getting started. I understand that. Dude, when stuff gets busy, like I said, I'm just now playing Warframe, and I'm like doing like the star chart, and people are like, yo, we've been doing this a year ago. And I'm like, man, first of all, the ninja just found out about it, because that's what they're called, space ninjas.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, ninjas play for free. This ninja just found out about this not too long ago, so give me a break. So yeah, I definitely feel that. The 2-hour stream one of these times. Yeah, when we get more time, hopefully that'll be soon. We can do a 2-hour stream, God willing.
You want to tell them?
What? No, you tell them.
Y'all, changes are coming to the channel. I will no longer be working at WLTX in a week. I transferred within our company to WCNC in Charlotte. It's a promotion for me. I'm real excited, but that means I won't be in Columbia. I will be working there. So long story short, me and Lou are going to continue to do this in some form or fashion because we enjoy talking with y'all, and it just helps in a small way, just relieve stress and just talk about nerd stuff because we like doing it. I agree. You agree with that?
Yeah.
So
That's a fair statement.
we are gonna figure out how to continue to do this. We just don't know how that's gonna work. We got to figure out probably a new streaming. It might be the same streaming day, but I don't know yet.
Michael has to figure out his schedule. I got to figure out mine. We may end up doing this on the weekends. It's a great opportunity for Michael. He's going to be doing this job in a larger market.
Yeah.
I think Charlotte's market 25.
Yeah.
It's top 25 market.
Yeah.
Columbia 79,
76.
70, whatever.
70s.
We're not even in the 60s.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a better opportunity. There will be more professional people. Some of the problems and the slights that he has to deal with here, he won't have to deal with there. It's more money. It's a huge city. So the news he's going to be able to do, the people he's going to be able to work with are top notch. So yeah, we're going to miss him. This opportunity was something he couldn't pass up. So we're happy for him.
Yeah.
We don't know what that means for the channel. We know that it's going to have to change. We don't know how we're going to do it. We ain't figured that out yet.
We got all kinds of options, y'all. We've talked about keeping the channel as it is. We talked about starting a new channel. We're trying to work through all that, and we will let you guys know through social media. Have you logged back into Instagram? I promise you it's the same credentials.
I haven't. I will tonight. You know why?
Why?
Because I bought something I shouldn't have, and I'm gonna put that shit up tonight.
Okay.
Katie
great.
texted me, was like, "Hey, you got a package here." I was like, "Good, don't open it."
You and all your kids. That's what we're doing, right, Sean K? That's what we're doing?
I love that this joke is now international.
Thank you so much for that. But anyway, so we will keep y'all updated on Instagram. I still got another week here, so next week should somewhat be similar to this or something. But yeah, it may be a thing where we do a group chat and stream it live or something, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we were using OBS, and then Anakin came through and was like, "Yo, here's a better software," so we have to learn the ins and outs of that.
Yeah.
So that's something. And for basic, we got to figure out what Michael's schedule's gonna be. So it might, and honestly, we might just have to do this on the weekends until we figure out it. Because we wanted to do this. The goal was to do this every day, and have this like maybe do an hour every day. And if you couldn't catch us on Monday, you caught us on Tuesday. We don't know how that's going to work. It may end up being where we do this on the weekends, like a Saturday at 3 p.m. or something, or a Saturday at 7. We don't know. We're still working out the kinks. Some of the equipment ain't ours. The crap is ours, but the camera, that microphone is ours.
Yeah.
Those lights ain't.
So whenever we branch off and do
TV
something, y'all may see us in like a little shack with a really bad camera until we get.
We ain't gonna be no shack. My wife told me I can have a studio. So,
she told you that. How you paying for a studio?
Oh no, like so.
Oh, you talking about in your house?
In the house. So she was like, "Yo," because everybody else calls it a man cave. I don't call it. I think that's very sexist.
Mm-hmm.
She calls it a nerd room. I don't know what you would call it, but basically, so when that one time I was doing it from home and I was in that room, so we have just to give you a little back, we have a 3-bedroom house. We're looking to expand, have 3 bedrooms for people, and then I have my own space to do this in.
Couple things. John Donuts, yes, he did say Anakin. That is our unsung third partner who is helpful at times and unhelpful most of the time, but sometimes he does come through with good ideas.
He's helpful like Yoda was helpful before you knew he was Yoda.
Yeah, and you'd be like, you had all of this the entire time? Yeah, so Anakin does help sometimes.
So eventually we're hoping he turns into Yoda?
Yes.
That day ain't today.
Mike said, Mike, bring a coat. Bring a coat to Charlotte?
Yeah, it gets cold up there, bro. Charlotte snows.
It's like an hour and a half away. It's an hour away from where I live.
Charlotte snows, dude. Did you? So you're not on. So what you?
Oh, also, I'm not. I haven't found a place there.
So you go be commuting?
Yeah,
man. Load up on the podcast and the Paxil.
I plan to drive for. Yeah, I've talked with my people at CNC. They know I'm driving.
So Corey Epps, who is a photographer who used to work here, look for him on Instagram. I think he's on Instagram. But Corey is a big. Not only like a photojournalist, he's actually a photographer.
Sure. Corey
takes pictures all over North Carolina, and he's gone like the mountains of North Carolina because you get that effect. Charlotte gets snow, man. Charlotte snows. So yeah. What?
Katie doesn't have a she shed. I like that name.
She has the whole house.
She does have the whole house.
Like, she's literally designed.
Brian Gamer, I will hit you up. I promise. I'm gonna remember now. I'm
Kim
going
from
home
Chicago.
after this, and I'll hit you up.
Yeah, Katie
on
has
PlayStation.
Katie's designed the whole house. I have now. I've done things that I won't say I'm not proud of, but so this
What
what
are you about
happened.
to admit?
So this what happened. So we got married around the same time Batman 50 came out, and that was when Catwoman and Batman were supposed to get married. Was it before or after? Anyway, so Batman 50 came out, and there was a cover that I wanted to duplicate in our wedding photos. So I had this great idea of taking Batman 50, one of the covers, framing it next to Catwoman and Batman and their wedding photo cover, and putting it in a frame.
Mm-hmm.
So to test out my theory to see how it would come out, I framed 2 X-Men comics and realized it was $90 and I didn't get the other frame. So we hadn't hung that up yet. And she was like, what is this? I was like, see what had happened, because she knew
Nice.
about the other idea.
Yeah.
But she didn't know I was going to test it. And so it came out okay. I'll take a picture of it tonight. Y'all probably seen it. But it didn't have the indentions where the comic sat a little lower and then there was like rising on the side.
Sure.
So I was like, I don't like it. I'm going to try it again till I get it right. So the next one I'm going to get right.
Okay.
But I still got to hang that up. But,
Yeah.
So she basically, that's like one of the things in our house that I wanted. Everything else is all her. There are like K's all over the place, pictures of us. But yeah, Kim from Chicago, I did not like Batman 50 either. Spoiler alert, they didn't get married, and they hyped it up for so long, I was pissed. But they had a lot of great covers, and I tried to duplicate one for my wedding photos, and so that was the inspiration. So I wanted to get that frame. But you're right, I really was mad they did not get married, because I was like, Batman needs to get married. Like the build up for that, and then they were like, it was literally like Lucy and Charlie Brown, and I was like, are you mean that you baited us for 50 issues, and they didn't get married? Another one of Warner Brothers' great decisions.
On that, y'all, we out. Again, we'll keep you updated on what we do, but you should at least see us here next Friday, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll definitely be here next Friday. And
So,
again, after that,
yeah.
we'll figure it out. Like I said, it's a work in progress. Maybe I'll get the room cleaned up and Michael can come over to the house because we're both vaccinated, and he can come to the house and just chill.
Yeah.
And if we do it like, and again, it's the whole idea is for us to still be able to talk to y'all, and still talk nerd stuff because it's fun. I mean,
Yeah.
who else are we gonna talk about this stuff with?
Yeah.
Because Katie don't care.
She's like, that's a good job. Okay.
She was like, ooh, thank God Michael came along, so I ain't got to watch another one of his MCU movies. I think the last movie I drug her to was Guardians of the Galaxy, and I called out that day. I was like, hey, I ain't coming to work. Guardians of the Galaxy just came out. Been waiting for this for years.
All right, y'all.
Hey, stay safe, wash your hands, look out for each other. We'll see you all next week. Peace.